So then let's look at one of the most commonly asked questions in all of puppy training to once and for all help you guys achieve incredible levels of success. Welcome back to Fenrir Canine Training, and today we're going to be answering another one of your questions. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video.
Hi guys, my question is about puppy biting. I feel like I've tried everything to stop my puppy nibbling at me, and I guess I'm wondering if there's anything in particular that you would recommend that I could try. Thanks for any help.
No problem whatsoever, and I am more than happy to help. This is probably the #1 asked question in all of puppy training. It is something that you are not alone in struggling with, and I'm definitely going to be able to help you overcome this as quickly as possible. Now, before I dive in exactly what you need to do, let me first talk about absolutely what you should not do. As a balanced canine behaviourist and trainer, I can assure you that I have actively tried and studied every different methodology when it comes to correcting any unwanted behaviours. When it comes to puppy biting, the common myth of standing up, squealing, rolling on your back and letting your dog know that it's hurt you is not what you should be doing. It is incredibly confusing and misleading for your puppy, and often makes the puppy ramp up and behave even worse. If you want to effectively communicate with your dog, not only what you do want them to do, but also in this situation, what you don't want them to do, we must take control of the situation and we must correct any undesirable behaviours. Which nicely segues into quickly and efficiently dealing with puppy biting as fairly as possible. And that is my simple 3-step process. We correct, we redirect, and we reinforce. That might seem simple, but don't worry, I'm going to break it down in a bit more detail for you now. First of all, we must correct our dogs. It's not fair to them to only positively reinforce the desirable behaviours, but to ignore the undesirable behaviours. If we only praise our dogs, we cause confusion and a lack of understanding, which creates anxiety and fear in our young puppies. Puppies and adult dogs need somebody to look up to for guidance and direction. That means we need to let them know when we want them to do something good, but we have to have the ability to let them know when they're doing something we don't want them to do. And that is why so many people struggle with puppy biting. So we must correct our puppies the millisecond that the biting starts to let them know that that's not acceptable. But you might be asking, how do we correct our puppies? Well, don't panic. It doesn't have to be cruel and it doesn't have to be violent. In fact, it doesn't have to be physical at all. I believe that the best way to correct a puppy can simply be with a verbal correction. So as soon as that biting starts, go to a very stern, loud verbal correction. What that verbal correction is can be up to you and whatever feels comfortable. It might be a stern, sharp no. It might be a shh noise, or it might be an ah. But what we need to do is to quickly break them out of whatever they're doing with a noise that shocks them, and we help them understand that that noise means stop doing what you're doing. I do not like that behaviour. A common problem with this is that people don't do it sternly and assertively enough, and the puppy misreads it as a playful behaviour. So if you're going to use a verbal correction, make sure it carries the assertive weight that's required to snap them out of the behaviour. If it's not having that desired impact, then they're not respecting your verbal correction and you need to take it up a level. Now, if we've corrected a puppy, it's not fair to only correct them. We need to then help them understand what it is that we do want if we're telling them off for doing something that we don't want. So that is why we move on to redirect and reinforce. When it comes to puppy biting, puppies absolutely need to relieve the pain that they're feeling within their teeth. To expect a puppy to not chew and bite things is a completely unrealistic expectation. So after we've corrected them from biting the wrong things, aka our fingers, we simply redirect them to the thing that we do want them to chew, which means ensuring that we have plenty of appropriate chew toys on hand at any given moment. Once they're chewing on the right thing, we can then finally go to praising and reinforcing that behaviour. Whether it's a verbal praise of good boy, good girl, maybe it's some physical praise of a good rustle behind the ear to let them know great job, or even giving them some food rewards to let them know awesome, I love what you're doing, do this more. Then with that balance of correction, then redirecting to the desirable thing and reinforcing, you'll see the bad behavior happen less and less because we're correcting it every time. And we'll see the desirable behavior happen more and more because we're reinforcing and rewarding that every time. And very quickly, your puppy will learn that chewing on hands, feet, clothing, shoes, arms is unacceptable, but chewing on the acceptable toys that we've provided them as loving leaders is acceptable, and you will quickly get over puppy biting. So then, there you go. I hope you found that useful. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I can't wait to see you on the next episode of Femre Canine Training.